Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. This is a story that I'm late to, about 24 hours late to. As you guys know, I don't follow college athletics, college basketball, college football. I don't follow it, right? So this one kind of slipped under the radar. I wasn't paying attention to it. But apparently, there's some controversy that was being made surrounding Michael Wilbon of ESPN and I think former Auburn coach Bruce Pearl, right? And it took me a while to kind of understand what was going on here because it was a bit of a confusing string of events to kind of follow. Initially, all I saw was what Wilbon said, and I was like, okay, he said that because of what? Why did he say that and all that? And I started researching Bruce Pearl. What did he say? So there are a lot of things here that we want to unpack. There are a lot of articles and stuff, but I want to go through this systematically and try to go in order to the best of my knowledge of this thing. If some people may have more information on it, please feel free to express your views. So apparently, Bruce Pearl went on Twitter to respond to some comments that former President Barack Obama had to make. Now, I want to read what Barack's original comments were. Then we can now react to what he said. So Barack wrote not too long ago, he said, about 20 million people saw it. He says, while a lasting resolution to the crisis in Gaza must involve a return of all hostages and a cessation of Israel's military operations, these articles underscore the immediate need for action to be taken to prevent the travesty of innocent people dying of preventable starvation. That's what he said. Now, I don't know the genesis of that thought. Then, apparently, Bruce Pearl responded to those comments by saying this. You gave billions to Iran and Hamas creating this mess, and not one word from you calling for them to release these hostages, surrender, and end the war. Tell Hamas to 1, quit stealing and reselling aid, 2, stop attacking GHF workers who are feeding Gazans, 3, leave and end suffering. So that's what he said, right? So the president said that. This gentleman said this. But I now want to take it a step further because essentially there's more to this. Now, he went on OutKick, talking about Bruce Pearl. He went on OutKick to basically expand on his thoughts about former President Barack Obama. So what we want to play for you guys now is we want to play his comments that he made on OutKick, just to give this story more context and more texture. And then we're going to continue on the show. Take a listen to what he had to say here.
I get so frustrated when I hear what a terrible country we are, how racist we are, how this is not the land of opportunity for everybody. Look, we've got a lot to work on. And there's racism that absolutely does exist, and it's wrong. But it's a lot better for my players than it was for their fathers or for their fathers' fathers or their fathers' fathers. And so I want my guys to recognize there are going to be obstacles, but not roadblocks. And that's what Barack Obama did. However, as our president, other than just love listening to him talk because he's such a great orator, I disagree with so many of his policies. I thought in so many ways, rather than uniting us as a country, even by race, he divided us. Everything was black and white. Everything was the obstacles that were against, my players from being successful. I'm trying to teach my guys, look, I don't want you working at Subway. I want you owning 5 of them. And that's possible. I think in many ways, Barack Obama told a different story. So it's hard to criticize him, though, because you get a lot of feedback that's really, really negative. My point on Obama the last time was this. He was calling on Israel for a ceasefire. He was calling on Israel to stop the war. He was calling on Israel, to release the hostages. And I'm like, dude, they're not the ones holding the hostages. They didn't start this war. The war and the violence and all the atrocities that go on both sides of the war end the minute that Hamas surrenders, releases the hostages.
Fantastic. So you heard his comments there on Fox. Now, Michael Wilbon, went on PTI, which is his show, and they brought up a segment of Bruce Pearl, who was apparently retiring from coaching, and his son was, I think, got appointed, or he elected for his son to be appointed for a 5-year job, whatever. And they were talking about him, and then Wilbon said something, it was good for him to go. He was divisive or something, whatever. I forgot what the comments he said. So what we want to do is we're going to play what Wilbon had to say, because this is the thing where really sparked all of this off. And then we're going to read from an article that contains the backlash to what Michael Wilbon had to say. So take a listen to what Michael Wilbon had to say on PTI just the other day. Take a listen to that.
Happy trails to coaching for Bruce Pearl. The Auburn coach is stepping down to become an ambassador for the athletic department. In his place, the school gave a 5-year deal to his son, Steven. Pearl is 65. He has had terrific teams at Milwaukee, Tennessee, and Auburn, which made the Final Four last season and in 2019. His decision comes about a year after Tony Bennett did the same thing at UVA. Pearl said he will not run for the U.S. Senate, something that had been rumored.
Tony, he become a divisive person, it seems to me, intentionally, and I hope there was pressure to just get him out.
Really?
Yeah,
I always liked him. He was such a great guest. Yeah, we're on the other side on him.
Fantastic. Now, let's get to the article at hand. Okay, so this article here is from Yahoo Sports with the following headline saying, right-leaning sports pundits are up in arms over ESPN's Michael Wilbon celebrating retirement of divisive basketball coach Bruce Pearl. Then continues on. Long-time ESPN host Michael Wilbon drew the ire of right-leaning sports media figures for his criticism of former Auburn University basketball coach Bruce Pearl. On Monday, Pearl announced his retirement from coaching, effective immediately. Taking the helm of the program will be his son, Steve Pearl. In a video announcing his retirement, Pearl addressed speculation that he was eyeing a potential pivot to politics. While he admitted it was a consideration, he instead chose to remain at Auburn in a non-coaching capacity. So you got that. Not long after the news broke, Wilbon and co-host Tony Kornheiser reacted to it on Pardon the Interruption. Wilbon made it clear he was glad to see Pearl go, citing the coach's divisive political views. In recent years, Pearl has become increasingly open in sharing his opinions on social media. Then we played the sound for y'all, which y'all heard. Now, let's get to the backlash of what various people are saying about what Michael Wilbon had to say, right? This is where things just get pretty messy. So Dave Portnoy says this: what an idiotic comment from Wilbon. Kornheiser shouldn't have rolled over. Apparently, Wilbon only likes athletes, coaches who speak on social issues if they align with his views. Otherwise, you are divisive. What a narrow-minded, small view. Hashtag Bruce Pearl. Clay Travis of OutKick, right, who says, Mike Wilbon says Bruce Pearl has become a divisive figure and he hopes someone forced him out. First, that didn't happen. Second, how was he divisive? The vast majority of people in the SEC agreed with everything he's ever said. And then he wrote some more comments. Awesome coach, great guy. He's a strong defender of Israel. Sure. Okay. So, but is that divisive? And then he went on to say a few other things. Let's get to the next person. Tim Brando says here, good for Tony here. This show is the best of its kind, and this is why. As for Michael, even when I disagree, I've never found him to be crude, but he, in my opinion, was in this instance. Tony's reaction was priceless and brings the dialogue back to the center. It's just good for television. Some other people weighed in here. This is Danny Cannell. He says, what a lame take. Wilbon puts on full display what is wrong in today's society. He used to like him, but because he made his political and religious views known, it makes him divisive. It makes him a divisive figure. Weak. What are my thoughts about this? First of all, I think all of this is good. Right? Wilbon made his comments. He made his comments as he has the right to do so. People disagree with him as they have the right to do so. And this is what you call a healthy dialogue. As long as people aren't making it personal or making it we're having any physical attacks or anything like that, I think this is fine. Wilbon had the right to voice his views. You don't have to agree with everything somebody says. And the people that are in opposition to what Wilbon had to say, they also have the right to voice their views. This is the whole point of a conversation, right? This is the whole point. Now, my take on this particular issue is, look, I don't know much about Bruce Pearl. I heard some things that he had to say. We're going to do that in a subsequent show. But Wilbon has the right to feel how he feels, right? And it's also important that we say this. Now I'm beginning to notice that more sports personalities are now beginning to delve into the world of sport. Obviously, there have been others that have been doing this for quite a long time, meaning people that talk sports that are also talking politics. Sometimes the two worlds intersect where major issues arise where you have to talk about these things. But we're beginning to see a shift in the space, right? And it's really up for the people to decide whose side they're on. I'm not picking anybody's side. I just like the fact that everybody's here expressing their views. That's the way it should be. We should all have the right to express our views without anybody fighting with one another and making it a physical thing. So I don't even remember how I came across this topic. I came across it that I don't remember. Was it Mitch or was it me? I don't know. But apparently Dwyane, former LeBron James Miami Heat teammate, made some major headlines today. As you guys know, back in 2011, D-Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh formed the Big Three, one of the most cringe teams in NBA history. And at the time when that went down, it was an absolute debacle surrounding especially LeBron. Why? Because number one, it started off with his decision, right, which he did on ESPN, and it turns out that even the Cleveland Cavaliers owner only found out about that decision the same time everyone else did. The same time you and this guy and that guy found out was the exact same time the Cleveland Cavaliers owner found out. He did that. The fans were burning his jerseys. It was just an absolute disaster. Just when you thought things couldn't get worse, the Miami Heat then decided to go throw like a mini parade, just announcing this Big Three. They had already come to the conclusion that not only were they going to win a championship, they were going to win multiple championships. And who stepped out there and made it clear that they were going to win these championships? None other than LeBron himself. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven. Well, when he made those comments on the heels of that show of his free announcing where he's going to be going in free agency, it turned the entire NBA community against the Miami Heat. Nobody liked it. The only people that liked the Miami Heat were Miami Heat fans. Nobody liked the Heat. It was so bad that LeBron, I think that year he decided he was going to wear the black hat, meaning he was going to play the role of the villain. Boy, didn't that work. That didn't work out. Tried to play the role of the villain, went to the NBA Finals, and just basically just collapsed. Right? It was something epic. Something absolutely epic. Well, we came across some sound today. Oh, right. It was one of our viewers that sent it to me. I forgot about that. Shout out to you. So he sent it to me. It came from the account, the 2K Savior 24. And it says, Dwyane Wade really threw Braun under the bus, said he never promised all them championships. And I'm like, what? So for those of y'all who didn't hear what Dwyane Wade had to say, want to play his comments for you now. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Dwyane Wade here.
If you could delete one thing from the internet, would it be the banana boat or would it be the introductory press conference for the Heat? Where
Which one?
The not one, but two, but three before you guys.
I don't care about that.
Well, it was kind of funny.
Yeah, but it's just jokes.
Yeah. Well, no, you guys were serious.
No, it wasn't no you guys. It was one person who said now. It was everybody was saying that. It was one person who said not three, not four, not.
What was going through your head when you said not three, not four?
Were you like, I was like, slow down, bro.
At what point were you like, oh, too many?
Well, first of all, that was one of the things that it's supposed to be internal. That's an internal conversation.
It was a packed audience.
Yeah, but it wasn't supposed to go out to everybody. That's one of those moments that are not supposed to go out to everybody. What you say in house, stay in house, supposed. That's would have been just for us. Now, if we go back, run a clip, look at me when he said it. I put my head down like, woo-wee. Because I had won a championship before. I knew how hard it was to obviously win the championship. So it's no way. Like, yes, we thought we were going to be a problem. Yes, we thought we was about to run the table, but we also knew the league is very, very good. And it's not that damn easy. So when he was doing the not one, not two, we in the moment. We're feeling ourselves. And it became something that people, took and made it like factuals. Yeah. Like we signed the contract and said we're going to win 7 championships.
Oh yeah, everyone made fun of it.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's jokes. It ain't nothing but joke.
Excellent. You heard what D-Wade said. D-Wade said it was never his idea. He said, as a matter of fact, when he was saying that, they was looking at him like, yo, son, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing right now? Like, you making it hot for all of us. But that's how much they rigged the game. When was the other time you ever heard LeBron go into a season talking about we're not going to win, not one, not two? They knew they rigged the game. That's why I laugh at those people that like to call out Kevin Durant for what he did, because KD just took a book out of a page out of the book that LeBron James wrote. KD did exactly what these guys did. Now, some people say, "Oh, they went there in free agency." At the end, the result was the same: a super team. Dwight Howard put his goon down on LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals. He ran and went to go play with D Wade. He didn't say, "Let me run it back. Let me see what I could do." Nothing. And they were supposed to meet in the finals with Kobe. Kobe was there. The team that beat LeBron's ass was the team Kobe beat in the finals. That's what happened. And then he ran to Miami to go team up with a guy who had just led the league in scoring in Dwyane Wade, although the Miami Heat that year, their record was absolutely ass cheeks. They got a 20-10 guy who was always going to the playoffs in Chris Bosh. They brought him in. Then you get to the playoffs, and they were looking like they could do it all. Then they get to the finals, and then it all fell apart. It all fell apart. They were talking. That's why when some of us were up here laughing, like when LeBron said, "Oh, the hardest person he ever guarded was a guy he played in high school or something." And we're like, bro, you had Jason Terry out there. You could have guarded him. Because if that guy was the hardest guy you ever guarded, you should have been able to guard Terry. You should have been able to slow down JJ Barea. Are you kidding me? Why didn't they put you on Dirk? This is why I be saying these LeBron fans be lying. Oh, he can guard all 5 positions. Why he ain't guard Dirk? Why he ain't guard Dirk? If he could guard all 5 positions, why didn't he guard Dirk Nowitzki? He can guard all 5 positions. This is what happens when you guys try to oversell something. You end up lying. You end up making up fanciful tales. It's like the Book of Narnia or something. They just up here making up stories. LeBron rode a freaking Pegasus to work today. Like, y'all just up here lying and crying. Crying and lying. Twerking and hurting. Honey just flying all over the place. Jars of honey just going out for sale. Just they grabbing it up. You can't even get any honey at the local supermarket near you. They done bought it all. They just up there sticking to one another. Unreal. You touch the door, everything is sticky. They shake, they move. Just unbelievable. So Dwyane Wade is saying like, yo, son, don't involve me. Those comments had absolutely nothing to do with me. We was looking at son with a side eye like, yo, bro, what are you doing? And if you're going to talk that level of trash, you want to tell me at the end of those finals, when LeBron wet the bed and calls Dwyane Wade a championship, you want to tell me D Wade didn't go and be like, yo, this dude, right? Do you know that after LeBron lost, do you know they were planning on trading LeBron James? Did you know that the Miami Heat were looking to trade him? Did you know that? They were looking to trade him after that collapse. Do y'all know that? Maybe some of the younger fans don't know that. Maybe we need to hip y'all up the game. There was a lot going on back then. A lot going on. And LeBron and his fans and his people in the media try to act like these things never happened. They just try to wash it all away. Oh, that never happened. What are you talking about? I've been the GOAT since I walked in the NBA. You listen to dudes like Draymond Green. He's been the best player. Really? Really, bro? Y'all need to knock it off. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please. And some of y'all be like, you're hating on LeBron. Don't watch. How you know I'm hating? That means you be watching me. You know I'm hating because you be watching. If I turn you off that much, don't watch. There's shows of people I don't like. I don't watch it. I don't be knowing what these people be saying. Y'all be knowing. Here come Dreamers Pro. How you know? This show is kind of piggybacking off of a show that we just recently produced. And that show was focused on some comments that Michael Wilbon had to make on PTI, I believe it was yesterday, about the announcement that Bruce Pearl was going to be stepping down from the coaching job that he had. Various voices like Dave Portnoy, others in the right circle, right-leaning voices have also reacted to what Wilbon had to say. People have already expressed their views. If you guys like, we can read you just some of what these guys had to say, because This is going to be a robust conversation here today. So let's get into what Dave Portnoy said. He said, what an idiotic comment from Wilbon. Kornheiser shouldn't have rolled over. Apparently, Wilbon only likes athletes/coaches who speak on social issues if they align with his views. Otherwise, you are divisive. What a narrow-minded view. Another guy, Clay Travis says, Mike Wilbon says Bruce Pearl has become a divisive figure and he hopes someone forced him out. First, that didn't happen. Second, how was he divisive? The vast majority of people in the SEC agreed with everything he ever said. Another guy said, and then he also said in continuation, he says, also my coach, great guy. He's a strong defender of Israel. Sure. But is that divisive? Only if you're a free Palestine nut job. Pearl is actually a huge defender of religious liberty. He has always been disappointing attack. I got to stop Clay Travis here. You're being a hypocrite. You're being a hypocrite. I didn't read the full statement that you made the first time. You're being hypocritical here. Because the thing that you're just accusing Wilbon of doing is what you just did just here. I will go back to it. He said, he's a strong defender of Israel, sure, but is that divisive? Only if you're a free Palestine nut job. Well, you just disqualified yourself from the conversation. Because how are you any better than Michael Wilbon for his views when you just call him a nut job? I'm lost. So you disqualify yourself here. You're saying that somebody that holds a different view from you is a nut job. So then why should anybody be taking what you're saying seriously? You're saying that your point of view needs to supersede his. Why? And then saying that you're attacking a guy for doing what you just did. You even did worse. Because you're now saying that anybody that supports Palestine is a nut job. Come on, are you being serious? So you disqualify yourself from this conversation. Let's move forward. I'm not here to twerk for nobody. Let's continue on. This is from Tim Brando. Good for Tony here. This show is the best of its kind, and this is why. As for Michael, even when I disagree, I've never found him to be crude, but he, in my opinion, was in this instance. Tony's reaction was priceless and brings the dialogue back to the center. It's just good for television. Someone else said, Danny Cannell, what a lame take. Wilbon puts on full display what is wrong in today's society. He used to like him, but because he made his political and religious views known, it makes him a divisive and weak figure. Weak. That's what he had to say. And then some other voices weighed in as well. Fantastic. So in the midst of me researching this topic, I then tried to understand, well, who is Bruce Pearl? Or rather, what are some of the things that he has said? Because there's another aspect to this where a lot of people are kind of rejecting him in terms of people not wanting to send their kids to his college. I mean, to his program that are black kids and all. And I'm like, wait, what did he say? So I had to hunt this information down, and I came across some sound here, and I could only find it on what is it? Initially, they had it on Fox News or whatever it is, but I want to play some sound that he had to, some things that he had to say. And I want you guys to listen to what he had to say, because in this sound, he was talking about Charlie Kirk and everything that he had to say there. So I want you guys to listen to what Bruce Pearl had to say there. And then want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to his comments here. Charlie
was a man of faith. He knew where he was going when his time came. I know that's not what he was planning on because he had so much to live for here. Dan, he was leading, I think, the most important revival that was taking place in our country, and that was young, conservative, Christian people who were on fire for God, who were on fire for Jesus, who were on fire for this country to help get involved in service and the process, and also began to see just that the other side was so different than how they felt about faith and family and the right to life. And so many things that we sort of take for granted as part of our DNA. The opposition is pulling farther apart from us, and also getting more violent. And I think the reason why they're getting more violent is because, like Charlie Kirk proved every time he debated and had a discussion, he was on the side of right. He was on the side of good. He was on the side of accurate history and you know, for the most part of what he talked about, and they couldn't beat him. And so they killed him. They murdered him. They assassinated him. They eliminated him. But what they didn't realize is they actually didn't, because he is going to live on. He's going to live on through all of us that followed him, that learned from him, because here's the deal, Dan. Like, Dan, you are one of the best at what you do. You are. But we all, and I'm pretty good at what I do too, but none of us could touch Charlie. I mean, he had a different gift, and he'll be so missed.
Excellent. So you heard what he had to say. Now, I think it's better if I show you why people are upset or why people are not a fan of what Pearl just said versus me saying it. Because if I say it, people will think that, oh, Charles, this is just your opinion. No, I want to just kind of illustrate why some people may not agree with everything that he said. For instance, which was one of the things he said was everything that Kirk said was right. There's some people that would vehemently disagree with this. So what we want to do is I came across some sound here from TTY Sports. He was the only one that I could find under this short period of time that was able to put together a quick compilation of some sound of what Charlie Kirk had to say. So what we want to do is I want to play what this gentleman put together here on some of the things that Charlie Kirk said, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what he had to say here.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. It begs the question, when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. And in the spirit of affirmative action, we have Ramon and Cadillac are your two pilots. They've never flown before, but they are black. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously.
The war on white people continues.
You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
Blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today. Data shows they were actually better in the 1940s.
Let's get loud for Kyle Rittenhouse.
I'm also going to offer some context and some nuance about the death of George Floyd that no one dares to say out loud, which is that this guy was a scumbag. Prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people.
There's no such thing as white privilege or racism.
Skin color now gets their own summertime celebration. Oh, wow, look how far blacks have come. It has now become a racial complaining.
There's a mythology around MLK that does not warrant the reverence that he gets treated with in America.
Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true.
Excellent. So now we have everything, right? We have his comments. We have this sound. Now we can unpack this issue thoroughly. What are my thoughts about this? If Bruce Pearl was a supporter of Charlie Kirk, my brother, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's who you want to support, God bless your heart and support who you want to support. If you feel like his views aligned with yours and his values aligned with yours, fantastic. It is your given human right. God gave us all what? Free will. It is your free will to support him. Totally fine. And I would never say, oh, don't go support. Do what you want to do. I'm not here to restrict people. But just because you support him doesn't mean everybody else needs to. Just because you view him in a particular light, in a sanctimonious light or whatever it is, doesn't mean everybody else will. Why? Because no two people are the same. No two people are the same. So one thing that one person may like, the other person may find detestable. I just played you a quick compilation of some of the things that Charlie Kirk had to say about blacks. That's offensive to a lot of blacks. Not all blacks. There's some blacks that see no issue with it at all, right? But to a lot of blacks, those comments are offensive. Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. You know, that's literally how it works. Some people are going to love what you say. Some people are not. Now, the issue now becomes, if you don't like what I like, something is wrong with you. If you don't agree with my position on, for instance, Charlie Kirk, oh, then something is wrong with you. Oh, you're not a Christian. What? What? No, it doesn't work like that. I'm a Christian and I don't have any animus or never had any animus towards this guy, but I don't agree with some of the stuff that he said. What does this Christianity have to do with him being right on these issues? Why are we dragging God? You see, some of you people are playing with God. Some of you people are playing with God. And you're using his name to involve him in the foolishness that people want to do on this earth. Y'all gonna pay for that. You see, when I talk about I don't be doing all of that, I don't do it. I don't do it because, number one, I'm not perfect. Don't play with the Lord's name when it comes to these kind of things. Don't say, oh, because this guy is a Christian, so therefore this and no. Don't do that. Because I'm a Christian too. And I don't agree with nothing he said in that soundbite about black. Nothing. So why does your Christianity supersede mine? Because some people are trying, well, he's a Christian. No. That ain't got nothing to do with Christianity. Those have to do with the way he viewed the world and the prism in which he viewed the world. If you say DEI is an issue, for instance, it's an issue for some people. For them, it's a major issue. I'm not going to get into the question of what, because I've never heard of the term DEI. The first question I'll ask is, what does it mean? That's the very first question a sensible, reasonable person would ask. A sensible, reasonable human being would ask. What does DEI mean? Diversity, equity, inclusion. The next question a sensible, logical, thinking person would say is, why was it created? That's the very next question, one with their thinking cap with that. Why was this thing created? Then an honest person will step up to the lectern and say, hey, Charles, this is the reason this thing was created, right? There was an imbalance in the system. So therefore, provisions like this, initiatives like this had to be created. Okay, I understand. Then we move to the next stage because Kirk, some of these comments were coming from that premise of DEI, meaning if a black, a Latino, whoever, a rabbit, a dog, a goat, a chicken, a chimpanzee got a job, right, in a place that was dominated by, zebras. There's usually zebras work, and we now got these guys. He's saying if I see one of these other people walk in here, I'm going to be asking the question, are they qualified to be here or not because of the diversity, equity, inclusion? Well, then you got to ask the other part of the question. Just because you're there, what makes you qualified? You never thought about it that way, right? So for those that are not there because of diversity, what makes them aren't there people that hold positions that are not qualified for it? Don't we see it every single day across all walks of life, across all industries? That's the first thing. The second thing, it plays into a wider stereotype, which is if you see a black guy or a black woman in a position of influence or power or whatever, somehow, some way, these people they must have gotten there through some type of chance. Somebody must have gave them an opportunity, because left to their own merits, they definitely would not get that position. Meaning to say, left to their own God-given abilities, they don't have the capacity to get to those roles. And this is where I begin to ask questions to people that adhere to this line of thinking. What kind of black people you be coming across? What kind of black people do you come across? Because it seems like you have this stereotypical view of blacks. For whatever reason, whoever these people are, must truly think, oh man, blacks are just inherently dumb. Who told you? Who told you that? Who told you? Go look up in the UK. What ethnic group have the highest scores in academia? Go look it up. Who you gonna see? Let me straighten up my shirt. The Igbos. The Igbos. That would be me. They outperform the Asians, the whites, the Igbos. What color am I? What color am I? Last time I checked, I'm black, right? So if blacks are inherently dumb and all of this stuff, then how are they able to do so well in academia? How come, for instance, Nigerians are so good at math, they're so good at science, they're so good at how do you explain it? One of the most educated groups in the United States are who? Black women in terms of degree holders. But if you listen to these comments, you would think that, man, he's making a point. He ain't making no point. He's only making a point to those that want to believe that, or they don't have the information, or they've been given the wrong information. This is the point. There are people that think that whites are inherently racist. Do you know that? Are you aware of this? That there's some people that think whites are inherently racist. I don't think so. Do you know why? Because I've met a lot of white people that aren't. You see how that works? I've met a lot of white people that aren't. So I don't hold that view. But when Kirk says stuff like that, it reinforces this stereotype. Hence the reason people push back on that notion. And you can't guise it in, oh, I'm a Christian. It don't work. It doesn't work. There's nothing biblical about it. It doesn't come from a place of love. It doesn't come from a place of virtue. It has nothing to do with that. We all have the Bible. What are we talking about here? Huh? How many Bibles do I have in my office? What are we talking about here? How many Bibles? How many Bibles do I have? I read this Bible. Which one do you read? Pull up the chapter, the verse, the book where they mention this. Where they mention this. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? And I don't like the fact that there are people that are trying to play games, play mind games. If I was around people that say, hey man, blacks are dumb, I'm not rocking with you. I'm not going to be around you because you look down on me. So unless I have very low self-esteem, why would I be standing around you? Why would I be wanting to hear what you have to say? Now, does Kirk have the right to express his views? Sure. Absolutely he does. It's his freedom. It's his right, especially in the United States. But there are people that also have the right to say, I disagree. And if because they disagree, doesn't mean that they're not Christians. That's my point. I'm a Christian, raised as a Pentecost since I was a baby. And I disagree. So what's the point here? What's the point? And the saddest part about this is I don't think like this about any group. I don't go around. I don't spend my time analyzing groups of people. I don't do it. I don't do it. I'm way more evolved beyond that. I don't do that. I don't waste my time with it. It's not an endeavor that I'm looking to undertake anytime soon. This is the point that I'm making. So I think it's important we play this sound and you get both views. I played Pearl's views. A lot of people are going to agree with him, which is their bloody right to do so. But I'm going to play you some of this other sound. And it's easy to see why others will be revolted by some of the things that he said. And if you're a virtuous person, you should. You should. If you're a white person that with an open mind, you would hear that and say, but no, wait a minute. That's wrong. That's wrong. I'm not going to try to intellectualize these comments. This is wrong. This is wrong, what he's saying. It's wrong. It sends the wrong message because I myself know better than that. I know better than that. So why? I should be the one that says, this is wrong. It's wrong. Just like if a black person, man, all white people are racist. That's not true. It's not true. It's not true at all. At all. So you should be the one correcting it.